Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Indy Investor Pod. I got Vickie and Elizabeth joining me today, and I'm just really excited for you guys and CIREIA and just the women here in Indianapolis for this event that's coming up on November 12th. So, really excited about this. The Women in Real Estate event brought to you by CIREIA. Exciting stuff. So, Elizabeth, let's start with you. Just give us a little brief synopsis, like what's going to happen here, what's going on, and yeah, what's this event all about?
So this is a power-packed one-day event, a high-end event as well. For our whole goal is to get more women investing in real estate. So you hear it all the time. Well, we want to take action and give women all the tools and tips and tricks that they need to either get started or to further their career in the real estate world. And we have two phenomenal keynote speakers. So not only do we have the CEO of Century 21 Sheets, Tracy Hutton, but we also have HGTV's Mina Starziak-Hawk is our afternoon keynote speaker. So we have worked very hard to make sure we have an incredible lineup of women that are just like us and that have made it in real estate. And we want you to make it in real estate as well.
Yeah. So no, action packed. So you guys got a ton of stuff going on and things. So excited for you. Go ahead though. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, no, I just wanted to also say that we've also planned a mimosa bar. For those that don't drink alcohol, we have locally made kombucha also. So we have both of those. We have a coffee bar. So we really want women to feel welcome and feel like this is their special day to, like I said, either jumpstart or really motivate or really move their business forward in real estate.
What a way to do it too. Way to get your business going and get those ideas out there and connect with people, network, all that kind of stuff with a mimosa or coffee in your hand. That sounds fantastic. So I love the bouginess that you guys are bringing to this event as well. So great stuff. So Vickie, before we get into kind of like who the guests are and what they're doing, what they'll be talking about and all that kind of stuff, I'd love to hear just a little bit about like how this event came about, like what's the reason for it and why you guys decided to go ahead and roll this out this year.
So, oh gosh, that goes back through many, many years. I flipped my first house in 1981. And I have a feeling that many of our guests weren't even born yet by then. Were you born yet in 81, Brian?
I was 1 year old.
Okay, so back when I started flipping houses, women weren't encouraged to do that. In today's world, we're still only about 25% of the real estate investors who are out there nationally, not just at CIREIA or the Indy market, but nationally. And there's a tremendous amount of opportunity for women to work it around having a family, which is what many people think that they can't do. They think they can't be a good wife and a good mother and have a family life and be in real estate, which in all honesty, it's just the opposite. Real estate has so much flexibility, and the return on investment of your time and the projects that you do can be so rewarding, not only financially, but in time and in helping the community. And that's one of the things that these women are going to be talking about is not only how did they scale and how did they have it all? Like Tracy Hutton has a son who's a professional athlete. So, how do we take real good strategies that they've used and implement them into our lives?
Yeah. No, I mean, like you said too, I mean, the lineup you guys have and the people that are gonna be speaking here, is one thing, but then it's been really cool over the last couple of years just to see. I know since I've been in the the indie investing community of just like so many women that have stepped up and just done amazing things. And I think it's great for them to be featured, for them to be highlighted. I just had Lauren Perry on a podcast, a couple of weeks ago, and her talking about like when they moved to Indianapolis, like her and her husband kind of visioned on doing this together. And she was like, nah, I got it. And she just like kind of ran with it. And she's running the real estate investing business and doing a great job with it and things. So Elizabeth, I know you've been in that role too, of somebody that kind of, you're from Indiana, but kind of, did your own corporate thing and stuff like that. And then came back, and I view you as somebody that's kind of, been in a dominant force here in the indie investing community and stuff. So what has that meant to you to, be a woman coming in here and being like, oh, I got this, I can handle this, and then be able to put on an event like this going forward and stuff too? What's that meant like to you?
It feels great because, whenever I don't think people realize really all the blood, sweat, and tears that go into making a business, and especially, I don't want to say especially real estate, but any type of business, and having that packed around us, especially at CIREIA, has been astronomical for my business. And then just to have this event that we can pour into these women and help them get going is, that's, once I haven't necessarily made it by any means, but definitely at a much different place in my business. So now I have a lot of extra time to give back. So I'm super excited for the event and to meet new women, and even women that we know that maybe they thought, well, I don't think I can do this, or I have a family, or even if you don't have a family, just making, either excuses or just thinking that you're not good enough to do it, but you are. And that's why we're putting on this event.
Yeah. So awesome. I know, Vickie, we mentioned Tracy, we mentioned Mina and stuff. If you want to talk a little bit about what they're going to be talking about and what they're going to be presenting on, but then also what other speakers are you guys going to have?
So I wish there were 24 hours that we could fill up with, but people can only sit for so long.
Yeah.
So we will be, as Elizabeth said, we're going to start it out very informally, and it'll be very welcoming. You know how sometimes you go to a meeting and you don't know anyone and you're hesitant to try to go meet people. Well, anyone who's been to a CIREIA meeting knows that if you're sitting at a table by yourself, someone's going to come over to you, and normally it's me, and going to encourage you to meet someone else. And that's part of the goal for this event. We want you to walk out of there with a handful of women that you've met that you can either do business with or meet for coffee. I mean, Elizabeth and I are, gosh, almost 30 years difference in age, but yet anytime I need something, I can call her and I know that she's going to be able to walk me through it or give me someone that can help me. And she does the same thing with me. And we have that relationship, and it started at an event like CIREIA. Actually, it was CIREIA. Yeah. So we have Tracy, who's going to kick it off, talking about how she has worked in the industry and had a family life. And then we move into a national designer from PPG Paints, being a woman, or maybe just being a design freak, the paint, and knowing that my paint selections can very much influence how much money I'm going to make on that flip. She's going to talk about that, and that's going to be a lot of fun.
It's funny. I have to mention this, not to cut you off, Vickie, or to kind of jump in here. I was at a national mastermind last week, and it's funny how the conversations change around like kind of who you're around when it comes to paint. I was around like a group of, a bunch of flippers that they were all men, and they were talking about, hey, you guys still doing like the dark gray or light gray and white? Like, what are you doing? The women have all these different names for them, and like all this different things. So it's hilarious that you bring it up with the paint things. I know that like from the women perspective, I love that perspective they bring in, because they add that detail and things like that a lot of times I know I don't necessarily think about it like, it's either light gray or medium gray or dark gray in them, but you guys got all the names for them and stuff like that. So I had to mention that story as you were talking about paint there and stuff.
Well, and gray's not even in right now. Grayish is in.
Grayish,
or warmer colors. And the last time we had someone from PPG do a presentation was right as that was changing. So it's very timely. But what's most important is not that it's just not what is in style or what the designers are recommending. It's what do people want? Yeah. People want warmer houses, and they want to have that feel. And so Rebecca's going to talk about that. And she's flying in to do this presentation just for us. And then at lunch, we have Chase Bank. JP Morgan Chase is a partner with CIREIA, and they're going to do a panel about what people don't understand about how investing and how real estate has impacted communities, and what Chase has put together different programs to help with that. They have one of the most phenomenal small business programs that I think a lot of people don't realize that they have. So they're going to share that. And we want women to understand that if you're going to flip houses and you want to make money at it, you have to treat it like a business. It's not a hobby. Yep. And so we're going to talk about that at noon. And then after lunch, we are having a panel. And oh my gosh, Brian, one of our panelists, she started in 2017. So she's new, she's young. She, at the time she worked for this, either the federal or the state government, I don't remember, but she was also building her investment business. She now has 6 Airbnbs. So in 5 years, she has flipped many houses. She's gotten her real estate license. She has her own Airbnb package or portfolio. And she's going to talk about how did she do that? And so, so we have a panel, 3 women who are going to talk about that. Stacey Berry is one of our speakers on that panel, and Lauren Monroe Hicks. And, or did I say it wrong? Is it Lauren Hicks Monroe?
You got it. I don't know. It's either or. Lauren Monroe. So I think, yeah.
Okay.
But yeah.
Yeah. So they're also very successful. And then we're going to follow it up with Mina. And what people don't realize is that when Mina first started flipping houses, she was a waitress in a coffee shop.
Yeah.
So she's going to talk about how did she do it in a man's world. And now, as we all know, they're into their 7th or 8th season on HGTV. They opened up a retail store. She does consulting. They continue to flip houses. I mean, how could anyone not want to just, if for no other reason, just get there and be excited to walk out the door from all these success stories?
Yeah. Well, it's been cool. It's been so cool to see what Mina's done too, because it's not just her and a woman, being a woman and doing it, but her and her mom, double dose.
Yeah.
Of what they've been able to do and stuff like that, and just dominate. And it's really cool just to see what Mina's even done. I mean, she's one of the high level, personalities that they have on HGTV too. It's not just like, hey, she's flipped a couple of houses and have a TV show. Like, she's multiple TV shows, doing multiple things and stuff like that. So,
and she's Indy.
Yeah. And it's Indianapolis. So, no, really good stuff. So, Elizabeth, what are some of the things that if you're a woman out there and you're looking to, hey, do I go to this event or do I not go to this event? What are some of the things that you could bring out of this event? What are some of the things that you hope that people, the women come into this and think, man, I want to work on this within my business, or can I figure out how to do this? What are some takeaways that you think just about any woman that's thinking about getting into real estate could take out of this?
The first one is the actual connections. This is an in-person only event. We're not Zooming it. We're not recording it. And, it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Yeah.
So that's huge. Just like Vickie said, we call each other all the time with, hey, do you have somebody for this or that? That's going to be huge for the women that attend. And the other big part is, a lot of people will say, well, like all this motivation, well, it's nonsense. Well, that's why we take a bath every day too, right? We have to take a bath every single day to stay fresh and stay clean. Well, it's the same thing with this. And so we want people to not only walk away with solid connections, but also the motivation that, I am going to do something if they haven't yet, or, okay, this is what I'm going to do to take my business to the next level. So this is a very strategy actionable. It's not let's feel good and kumbaya while we're there. And when we leave, no, our whole goal is let's get these women actually investing more.
Yeah, I love it. I think that's so great. You're kind of talking about some people have that mentality like, I don't need that motivation or whatever it is. Some people do. Some people need that little push, or even just seeing people that have been successful and hearing their story. Like you mentioned Mina being whether she's bartending or waitressing at a coffee, like that's what it is, and how you grow from there. And I know Lauren has that same background too, where she was just bartending and stuff like that, and she's doing awesome. Like I love working with Lauren and everything that she's done and things. So a lot of really cool women that are doing some really cool things here in Indianapolis. So I love what you guys are putting together and what you guys have done. Vickie, what's one of the things that you, as one of the leaders of this, what's one of the things that you are hoping to see out of this event?
So I will honestly say that for years, we've been asked to do a women's event, and I have resisted it. And I resisted it, and Elizabeth is chuckling. I resisted it because I kept saying, we are women, but we're working with men. We need to learn to get along with men and to figure that dynamic out. The challenge for that is that's easy for me. That's easy for Elizabeth. But that's not always easy for all women. It's not even always easy for all men to work with men. Yeah. So there are personalities, and what I have found in the many years that I've been director at CIREIA is that you have to understand that some of the quietest, most reserved people are sometimes the best business people, or sometimes the most creative, and they get overlooked because they're so quiet.
Yeah.
And I think that's what happens with women. I think some women are so quiet, but they have this drive and they have this need to create a wonderful home for people or to better their community. Some of our people that will be there, they are putting together senior homes, or they're putting together veteran homes, or
Yeah.
homes for people who need some help. Well, as you know, Brian, we're all about teaching real estate investing the right way.
Yeah.
And this event will just be one more tool that they can use to help them connect to the people who can help them do that, but also to build their confidence to do it.
Yeah.
But it comes back to, the connections.
Yeah.
You can't, it's really hard to do it when you're by yourself.
Yeah, 100%. And so, it's the connection thing, but also even past that too, it's that idea or that strategy. I know sometimes too, there's times where I'm, at an event and somebody just mentioned something like, oh my gosh, why haven't I thought about that? We can implement that into our business. We can do that tomorrow and things. So, really cool. I want to bring up something too. You kind of mentioned that, Vickie, why you resisted it, of like, oh, we don't need a women's event. We can do a men and women, and, we can put that all together. I'll share this story with you because I think it's appropriate. You as a former teacher and me as a former teacher as well, is that at one point I had 4 different classes, and I did a master's paper on this, basically, where I took the school allowed me to kind of change up the classes. So I had one class of all women, or one class of all girls, one class of all boys, and the other 2 were mixed. And I just kind of taught all the classes the same way and kind of went through the testing, stuff like that. The class that was all girls and the class that were all boys outperformed the other 2. And that's how it was. So I love to see, sometimes it's just that comfortability of who you're around and what you're doing, and just that piece of it. So I love to see that you guys are doing this. And actually next week I'm going to be outside of Salt Lake City at a men's retreat that's just for men business owners that are like, middle aged and stuff, because I wanted to put myself in that kind of atmosphere, that have people, I can relate to those people on that certain level. That's exactly what you guys are doing right here. You guys are bringing that opportunity for women to get together, be comfortable with who they are, kind of talk with other people and brainstorm ideas and things like that with people that are doing exactly what they are doing, want to be doing, or even they can look forward to see what they could be as well. So I think it's really, really cool. Elizabeth, I want to ask you, as I kind of reflected on my past right there a little bit. I want to kind of have you reflect a little bit on you in the corporate world. Kind of, people say that same thing too, of like women in the corporate world is kind of a man's world as well. Kind of coming in the real estate space. How are some of those things that you kind of, when you established yourself in the corporate world, how did that help you establish yourself in the real estate world too, as a woman that, like I said, is doing very well for yourself?
I think the biggest thing is probably just having that confidence. And even, when I don't know something, like I'll persevere, I'll find
Yeah.
it. And just keep going. And, there are a lot of really great guys in the world. There are a lot of great girls. And then there are just jerks on both sides.
Yeah.
Right. So you're going to meet those in corporate and in doing real estate, but you got to keep going. And that's the other thing that's really great about our event, because everybody except for our PPG color expert, everybody's local, right? So
Yeah.
if you need a plumber or electrician, like I have fantastic contractors that have been working with me in some cases for 5 years.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to give that out. And I think that's the other thing, Brian, that people are going to see with this event is like, I want all of my people to have even more business. So I'm going to give you, okay, yes, this is who I use for HVAC. And so just, again, helping the women, I have no problem with, having a backbone, but like Vickie said, not everybody does. So that's why we're here, is to help get your backbone a little bit straighter and a little bit taller.
There you go. I love it. It's something too. And I think what you just mentioned there, like you're willing to give out, some of your connections and, connect people with doing certain things. I will say that 100% the Indy investing community stands out amongst a lot of other cities, a lot of other investing communities with that. I feel like Indy has done a great job of helping each other, looking out for each other, and CIREIA is at the forefront of all that stuff. So, Vickie, when you hear comments like that, like you with what you've done in CIREIA, I still view you as the face of CIREIA. I know you like to like get out of it at some point and kind of hand that over at some point, but you've been the face of CIREIA for a while. So when you hear people talk about the Indy investing community, that they are so tight knit and that they like to collaborate with each other, give each other connections, and then also what you've seen women do in the Indy investing community, how proud does that make you feel that you've been a part of that? I'll
Oh,
put you on the spot right now. I know
yeah,
you don't like, you're pretty humble and you don't like this stuff, but I'm going to put you on the spot with that because I do
yeah.
think you've been integral with
Well, I mean, are you wanting me to start crying? Is that,
it.
so, um, it, it's heartwarming. So CIREIA really struggled during COVID.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's any surprise that most RIAs around the United States did, and or most clubs did. And luckily, we are back on the mend and we are growing again. But we fought hard to keep CIREIA going because we feel that it is so important to our industry and our community. When we first started, when our board of directors when we first started working in the market, there were some pretty shady characters in the market. And we worked hard to try to weed them out of the CIREIA sphere, and we did a good job. Now we're at a place where I think that if there wasn't a CIREIA in the market, I think the market would really feel it, because I don't want to say we self-police, but we do self-encourage.
Yeah.
And so to be a leader and be in the forefront of that, it's beyond rewarding. But it's because of people like you and Simple Wholesaling and Elizabeth and Elizabeth Mayora. When people say things like that, what they don't realize is that we couldn't do it without having the support of people like your businesses. You guys are what make it successful, and we're very blessed.
Yeah, I think it goes all the way around with everything you said, with what we see in the Indy investing community, that we do kind of police ourselves to a certain extent and help each other out. And I think it's needed and it's great. Talking with a lot of other people in different communities and a lot of different markets and things like that. We have something special here. So it's
We
really
do.
cool with events like this and what CIREIA does and things. I think it's awesome. Elizabeth, I would love to know, so who should attend this event? So if I'm a woman at home and I'm listening to this, and I've never done a flip before, I've never bought an investment property before, I have an established business, or I'm a wholesaler or flipper, or Airbnb person, or I just want to have the passive income, like who should come to this event?
Any woman that is interested in furthering their business. So whether you think, even if you just want to come to hear what the latest paint colors are, that's a reason to come. If you want to come and just surround yourself with other successful women in the real estate world, please come. We want you here. Everybody is welcome, no matter what level of real estate you are on. If you don't know what ROI is, you're welcome, and we'll teach you all about it. So if you're at that level, if you are already making your money in real estate as well, and you're already successful, if you want to be even more successful and get more connected, because again, it's not what we know, it's who we know, please come. We would love to have you. We'd love to have you share your knowledge, what you've done, what's worked, what hasn't, because there's going to be plenty of time for connecting with other women right here that are local.
Awesome. And then Elizabeth, also give us the logistics of how do you get signed up? How much is it? Like, when do I have to get signed up by? Like all that kind of stuff. Not me. I can't go. I'm kicked out of the event. But for the women out there, how do they get signed up and stuff?
So you can go to CIREIA.club, which is CIREIE. No, I'm sorry, CIREIA.club. And you'll see on the events, it's the second one on the events. It's the WIRE. So that stands for Women in Real Estate. You want to buy your tickets now because we do have an early bird special through the end of the month for only $149.
Nice.
So this includes everything that we mentioned: mimosas, coffee bar. We'll have pastries in the morning. We'll have a lunch at noon also. We also have sponsorships available for tabletop sponsorships because all of our other sponsorships are gone.
Nice.
So, bring your family, bring your daughter, bring a sister, an aunt, your mom, just like we said, that Mina and her mom started out, and, they've become nationally famous. So CIREIA.club is where you can go to buy your tickets. Super easy. And we will see you November the 12th. It starts at 9 a.m. We'll end at 4 p.m. and we will keep everything right on time. So the times will be followed. And it is at the Irvington Event Center on the east side. So over in Irvington.
Nice. Great stuff. You mentioned a really good point there, and I want to just highlight that again. If you said, if something, like bring your sister, bring your mom or something like that, I think it's important. Every time I'm around my family, I get asked all the time, like, what do you do? Wait, how do you do that and stuff? This is a great opportunity. If you're in the business, bring somebody with you that, is kind of, they're curious about it, but also just like that person that maybe that support person for you of like, oh, hey, here's what we do. Here's how we do it. And like, surrounded with people like that, I think it's a really good opportunity for that as well. So Vickie, any last little points or any of the last little things that you want to bring up about this event or your excitement or what you guys are going to do this day?
Well, as Elizabeth mentioned, there will be plenty of time to network and to communicate with others who are attending. We'll have a table there for the whole day for those break periods where people can come up and ask. It'll be a Q&A table.
Nice.
So they can ask questions. They might come up and ask Elizabeth, who do I use for a plumber? Or they might come and ask me, where are you investing right now? So it's not just about the speakers. It is about meeting the sponsors during the day, talking to those of us who've been investing for, in my case, forever, in Elizabeth's case, for a while. And there are several of us who will be manning or womaning those tables to answer all those questions, and just come and give us a hug.
There you go. Love it. Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. Excited for you guys, excited for this event, and excited for the women of Indianapolis of what they're going to do in the investing community. So exciting. So Elizabeth, before we get you out, any last little thoughts from you or any last little nugget that you want to throw in there before we jump off?
We'd love to have you. Again, no matter what level you are, come join us, learn, grow. It will be well worth it.
Awesome stuff. So with that, that's a wrap for this episode of the Indy Investor Pod. If you guys need anything from me at all, don't hesitate to reach out at brian@simplewholesaling.com. And that's it. So we will see you guys next time on the Indy Investor Pod. Take care.
Thanks, Brian.